I am live. Live, I tell you. Live and solo. Let's say hello to people. Give Steve Patrick in Sweden. He commented 5 years ago. Hold on. Someone's Harry's coming up.
Oh, someone.
Rich.
Nice introduction. I get up in the morning.
You're lucky. You're lucky. You're allowed up here. Hold on.
I prep for the show.
Craig has a day off. Craig's about to start working on a movie. And hello. James Farley's here. Has it been a while since you've been around, James Farley? Richard James. Richard James, you should make a t-shirt saying, never met a live stream I never liked. I liked or whatever. He didn't like. I just woke up not that long ago. It was a late night for me. It's Angelo Kelly.
Dog that wakes up as soon as the sun comes up, which means I have to get up now.
Well, I taught last night and it went long, so I'm tired. And then DJ Trush. Okay. Oh, wait. And then there's Rob. And then there's Fluffy again. And
I've got a stalker. Have you noticed every time I'm on screen, there's a certain guy from, I won't say where, but he always shows up.
That's the Internal Revenue Service. It's the IRS.
Yeah.
Okay. There's Nick Rudo and blah blah blah. So
Andy, let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to be preparing later today. I'm going to do a short live stream where I preview the records I have for the auction. So I think it's the best auction I've done.
We'll be the judge of that.
Well, I think people will be happy. There's lots of good stuff. Over the last couple months, I've been able to pick up some good stuff.
How often do you see 45s and you just don't even buy them or look at them?
I mean, I don't look at them and buy them. I mean, every store I go to sells 45s, but I just...
You don't do estate sales anymore?
No, I do. I go to estate sales. I think they kind of dried up a little. There's one tomorrow I'm looking at. There's
people
one
just
today.
Aren't dying like they used to.
No, people are dying always like they used to, but I think maybe they pre-sell off the records sometimes. So there's never like, wow. And I think there's a few on Friday that have I always like the ones where they just show all records and they don't really refer to them. So
what's the competition like at estate sales for you? Is there always a big line, or because up here you got to go at midnight?
There's a big line. Records are not the number one thing if an estate sale has them. I think when you go to estate sales, here's the hierarchy. Dishware,
which I don't get.
Well, people get because, I mean, or whatever the fancy name for dishware is. And then pottery and those sort of things. Art pieces are big. Clothes are huge. Clothing is huge. Jewelry is huge. Then that's really the top part of estate sales, I think. That's what the main people are there for. That to deal in those items in a professional way dwarfs records big time.
Yeah.
And then I find when people go there for records, they leave with maybe 2 or 3 records. It would have to be a sizable collection, which I think nowadays the family sells off. They sell it to a record store or something. So then, books. Books are huge. Books make records look like nothing.
Yeah, but books are like 50 cents and $1.
No. It depends. Really, book dealers go to estate sales in droves. So records really is not the main, even close to the main thing. And I always find like they hire these professional companies to do it, but they do sometimes dictate prices. And when they're charging a lot for records, they go, "Do you understand? Even in LA, how much you're going to sell this house for?" Hold on. Excuses are like assholes, Jim. Yeah, the
In other
morning.
words, he's on the toilet.
The morning's the best time to proofread the paper. You know what?
You just wipe and flush.
Jim's version of proofreading the paper is, let's see how many mistakes I can leave in this thing.
I've read his magazine once or twice. The only mistakes I saw were obvious glaring errors by the guy who didn't know what the hell he was doing. That boomer scalper guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, wait till you read the new one. All right, here he comes.
Or maybe he's just breathing hard.
Oh, no.
I'm proofing. Oh, you want to see the cover? We got a nice cover, folks.
Oh, that's a good one. Have you
Yeah.
ever had him on the cover?
I don't think so, no. Number 112. Here's the rest of the damn. I got the wrong I've got the wrong CD Trader ad running. It's no longer record store day. I got to change that.
Well, that's a good catch.
Yeah. That's proofing the paper.
The only magazine I read is Mad.
God, I used to love Mad magazine.
No
I
Cracked?
loved it as a kid.
Yeah.
No one used to. I used to read Cracked magazine.
Cracked wasn't as good.
It was Marvel. It was Marvel's. It was Marvel's attempt to compete with Mad.
My dream is to have Spy versus Spy in the margins of my paper. You know what I mean?
You should do a cover that folds like the back cover always did with Mad.
Hey,
Yeah.
Do an ad like that.
That would be so fun.
Jim, your dream should be not to have mistakes in your magazine.
Well, I have a theory. The day that I put out a paper without any mistakes, I accidentally walk in front of a bus. So I don't want that to happen. I'm not so.
Can we get a cover story on Angelo Kelly?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the artwork.
Well, actually, it's going to be a back cover story.
Oh, ouch.
It's going to be behind the music.
Right.
Yeah, actually, this is all it's going to be. It's going to be a picture of Angela Kelly. It says, "Have you seen this person?"
Yes, exactly.
Call this number.
Right. Reward offered. Anyway.
Only it will be the ransom of Red Chief.
Right. So here's here's Vinyl
Con. Says he wouldn't fit on it.
Wait, hold on. So that
Vinyl Con.
That's bad. That's bad text. It doesn't. You can't read it very well.
Dealers wanted.
Scan that QR code, folks.
Yeah, I mean,
cocaine dealers, weed dealers
from outside of LA wanted. That's what he should put.
Yeah. Dealers that have the shit that Rob wants at a great price.
No, dealers that aren't selling their private collection.
What's wrong with that?
That's what you want.
They're not a good state.
No, people haven't dug through already.
Look, this weekend is the Orange County Record Show. It's going to be the same people selling the same records that they never sell. And I'm afraid those will be the same people at Vinyl Con.
They're too lazy to change out the boxes in their van. At
least if it's not selling, lower the price after a while.
Here's a sneak peek.
Hello,
Freak Beat's having a sale, but not till
July.
What is it? July 10. But they're advertising.
So if I get there the last week of June, will they let me in early on that?
Well, I'll tell you this. I hope he brings in records for that sale.
Why?
So we've got Glenn Guthrie here saying hello from the Philippines. I just wanted to tell Glenn
He's on
Glenn, there's
vacation.
a fellow that buys tons of records and he ships them to the Philippines in a shipping container, and then they sell them over there. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not.
Yeah,
I
but
think
they're
it's
all
Northwest
disco
Collectibles.
records. They're
What
all
is the name of it?
I think he calls their business Northwest Collectibles.
I don't know it. There was a guy from Korea who bought 40,000 classical records. A friend of mine had put them in a container and shipped them off to Korea.
Oh, I thought you were going to say put
Is
them in.
there
a
any way we
container
could do that
off
with you,
the
Jim?
ocean.
Ship me off to Korea. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I want to go to Shenzhen. No, one of those cities. I like watching Chinese Trump. You see that guy?
No.
No.
There's a YouTube guy in China. He's a Chinese guy, and he does a pretty good Trump imitation. He walks around China trying out the food as Trump and stuff. And he's good. And man, China looks pretty cool to me.
All right,
You
we'll
know,
They're
ship
the
you
number
off.
one superpower, if you ask me.
We'll send you
I
there.
agree. And India's soon to follow.
Vietnam's pretty strong as far as their industries go.
Yeah. Asia, man. Asia
Thank you.
rising.
Yes.
That's
I
the
tried
heat of
to
the
remember-
moment, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't
Anyway,
Asia do in the heat of the moment?
The
Didn't
band Asia.
do the song?
Can you
In the
guys
heat
all
of the
talk
moment.
together at the same time, please?
What?
In English.
Fluffy, I've never been to China.
Morning,
Been
Fluff.
to the Philippines, been
hold
to
on.
Thailand.
Fluffy sure asks a lot of questions, doesn't he?
Yeah. Who is this guy, Fluffy? Who's he
He's in
work for?
hiding. It's almost like he's in the witness protection program.
Okay. So
I'm only here because I'm waiting for Dr. Robert to give us his reviews
Of
of
what?
the
of his new record cleaning machines.
oh yeah.
We're on a private thread, and his opinion was almost exactly what we told him it would be.
My reply was, I don't want to say I told you so, but we told you so.
Yeah.
My favorite part was he goes, "The proof is in the pudding." And I go, "You're not supposed to put pudding in it."
I like when he says he got it for free.
He did.
After-
No, he says he got it for 25% off.
I have to
The,
turn the notifications off. Otherwise, it sits there and goes ding, ding, ding all fucking night.
Oh really?
Well, my phone's on vibrate, and I don't. My phone is never off of vibrate. I'd never want to hear a ding out of my phone.
Here's Chris's Vinyl Piper's
Yeah,
ad.
He put an
Right.
really put an ad in there for the top stuff he's looking for. Nice.
Get that stuff over to him, man. He's paying big bucks. Big bucks. Chris.
You know,
Hey,
you need to do a follow up on that and see what kind of response he gets from that. He needs to do one.
After how many years have I been doing this? Almost 20, like 15 years, whatever. Streetlight Records changed their ad for the first time in 15 years. It's red now.
Where are they?
They're located. They have two locations in San Jose and Santa Cruz. Good store, really good store. I used to buy a lot of stuff from them. I think when I was living in San Jose, they had a guy that was the buyer for Goodwill Records. He handled all the records, and he would just send them right over to Streetlight. It was a good little scam
Wait,
they had. That's done.
So wait, when
Anything that came into Goodwill wound up at Streetlight. Anything good wound up at Streetlight.
What was his cut?
Sucks.
I don't know. I was just a buyer, you know. I was just like, I was working for a newspaper up there called Metro, which I think is still around.
Rob
All
had
right.
a similar deal with Goodwill, but it was all ladies' lingerie. Went straight to Rob's house.
Yeah. And he would clean it for them.
Well, it's better than wearing it, Harry. Which is what
Well, we
Harry.
don't know. We don't know. We never asked.
All right. Be careful because this guy has a head cold.
Uh-oh. Norman.
After 3 days
Hello, Norman.
after 3 days of drinking fucking tea, I'm back to coffee. Tea
See?
is the worst goddamn thing in the world.
See,
You got to steep
hold
it
on,
right.
Hold
You
on.
got to have the right blend, and it's got to be steeped just right.
All right. Okay. Let's put this in as Americans. Iced tea is what we drink. And the best drink is an Arnold Palmer. That's when you mix iced tea and lemonade together. Cold tea, iced tea, not the hot tea. But when you go to a Chinese restaurant, they give you a little pot of tea. That's good too.
Yeah, tea with Asian food is great. Tea when you're sick, okay, I get it. But otherwise,
How often do you drink iced tea, Mazzy? I drink iced tea all the time.
sometimes in the summertime, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's good. Yeah, but there's no pleasure in drinking tea. You don't get anything from it.
Well, okay, Mazzy. If there's a blend of tea that's like herbal, like there's passion fruit or stuff, but the problem with the British people is they pour cream and they put sugar in there. You might as well just drink hot water with milk and sugar in it.
Well, you know, is there a
That would be called
correlation?
coffee.
Is there a correlation between all that tea and bad dental work?
Well, look, that's what you put in coffee. I put cream and sweetener. I can't have sugar. And I put a
sugar
little
you
bit of
shouldn't
that.
put in coffee anyway. No sugar. You don't.
No, I agree. Yeah,
I do.
Sugar's for amateurs. It's kind of like
Makes
vodka
it
with
candy.
martinis.
It's not candy. Coffee.
Yeah, well, there you go. Bury the taste of the tea with milk and sugar, okay?
I've been to.
At least us Americans drink the iced tea, which you can taste the tea flavor in a refreshing temperature.
I don't think they have.
sun
I don't
tea.
think, do they have ice in England, in Europe? No,
They don't have ice there.
We're just giving you a bad time here. You know, chamomile and green tea, and like going to a Japanese tea garden next to the De Young in the park and having cookies and green tea is really good. So
yeah, hold on. Yes, you can beat it. You could have coffee.
I've been drinking tea for the last 3 fucking days.
Why though? Why?
Morons.
So you can. Why?
I've had a cold. I've been like.
Yeah.
And
So,
so
Mazzy, I
tea is better
watched
than
your
coffee?
video with Steve Westman. This is my original in shrink wrap stereo. Great condition. I don't think I need the Impex.
Yeah, you don't. You probably don't. Yeah. Is it that yellow label?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. No, you don't need any. Nobody needs anything. It's the new
Right.
is a new good version, but yeah.
I've heard both.
Yeah, and your
I don't
conclusion.
remove comments. Hey, Ricks, in terms of videos that I only remove comments when someone says anti-Semitic, homophobic, like sexist, and racist bullshit. That I remove. But if they don't agree with me or so, I just leave those. I don't care.
What if they call you a butthead?
I don't care. I mean, if that, they're wrong, but if
Yeah, they can be wrong all they
that's
want.
just stupid. I'm not going to remove that. I don't care. Makes them look dumb. I like when other people will jump on them, not me. But
Hey, I bought a record off the wall at Amoeba the other day.
all right.
Very hard to find record. This Pharaoh Sanders still in the shrink. Elevation, which is a live album, very spiritual jazz, a little free jazz in there.
I remember that. That was that 70. Is that 76 or so? What year is it?
74.
Oh,
74.
Okay.
On the knee, it came out as a neon impulse.
Yeah, I remember seeing those around ABC, but I never heard it.
But to find this like in near mint condition, except the cutoff corner, and this is a quad, but it sounds great. They performed it at the Ash Grove in Los Angeles. Did you ever go there, Jim?
No, I never
Grove
went.
burned down, didn't it?
Yeah, before I was like really going out. Here's another great. Well, never mind.
Who's on this? Mike's asking who's on this. You got your Pharaoh, Michael White, the violinist. Joe Bonner is big. Michael Carvin, great drummer. It's really good. It's very good. I enjoyed this. Hold on. Poetry has something to...
Man, that's tough, Michael. That's bullshit. That's really bullshit.
Yeah, we know it's.
Fuck that felon, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Sorry, Michael. Michael, when are you posting the video of that guy's compound that we visited?
You know what? Bitch all you want, people. But this morning was announced that Trump, there's not going to be a tax increase on billionaires. So we got that going for us.
I'm shocked. Really?
We got that going for us.
Wow.
It's amazing that his fans like that. Like, really? Just pay your fair share, you know? That trick, we know trickle down doesn't work. We've tried that many times.
All right. We all feel
politics.
we all feel the same way. There's plenty of places you can go to discuss it.
Okay, I just had to get that out of my system.
Yeah,
I'm just thrilled.
It's fucked. It's fucked.
Here's a.
Oh, cool. Oh, my buddy Flynn.
Yeah.
Nice.
So those of you, it's funny, these sets, I don't know about that set, but the Grateful Dead, you know, there's this Grateful Dead set coming. It's the 60th anniversary. This year's the 60th anniversary of the Dead. And some people were bitching about it, rightly so. And I'm not defending it. I'm just saying the fact. 60 CDs or from 60 CDs from 60 venues, I think, that the Dead played historically. So it goes from 1969 to 94, okay, all over the place, and it's like $600 or something. It's in a wooden box. I mean, it's $10 a CD, so it's not expensive per CD, but it's an expensive box, and they're down to under 100, I think now, or under 200 left. So it's been, you know, for about 6 weeks. So it's going to sell out before it is released. So all these people bitching about it.
Do that for $10 a CD when the Springsteen box set's like $50 a CD.
You know, these are tapes. I don't know. You know, these are tapes they have in the archive. You know, it's more complicated than just per CD. It's with licensing and music, and there's so many things. I don't know. Yeah, Springsteen, you're right, I think is expensive. I didn't order
I'm
the
not going to order it. I'm going to wait till the price comes down, or I'll just steal it. I'll get it. I'll download it somewhere.
Yeah, the Dead. The Dead.
That's what I usually do for Angelo Kelly stuff.
Well, the Dead is limited. It only sold through Dead.
Will this not be available for streaming, or none of the?
Yeah, you'll be able to stream it. Yeah. I think
somebody out there is looking for the very first Dead show. They want to know what the venue was for the very first time they ever played as the Dead.
Okay.
There's a video on.
I used to know that. I forgot. In terms of
they don't know. They're trying to find out what it was.
The first venue for the Warlocks in 1965, this spring, so around now, was at a pizza parlor on Center Creek Avenue.
I saw that.
It was called Magoo's, and I used to go. We lived in Menlo Park then. We lived in Menlo Park from 59 to 65, and so we used to go to Magoo's. But I never saw any of that stuff. And
I've seen photos of that pizza one. Yeah,
that was Magoo's Pizza. They had folk singers play there a lot.
Hey, so yesterday they ended the voting. Of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they posted the results. So I'm going to show it.
Okay, I think the stupidest.
Hold on, let me show it.
We need a drum roll.
No Joy Division? Are you fucking kidding me? Fish over Joy Division? Fucking Fish?
All right, hold on 1 second.
Fish?
So only 2.5 million people voted. First of all, okay. Secondly, they don't pick all the top vote getters. They pick, what do they pick? 5 to 7, sometimes less, that get in. So not all.
Scary is that Mariah Carey had 137,000 votes.
Yeah.
Well, she's not on this list. So what are you talking
She's
about?
on the
I would
bottom.
say the only one that doesn't, to be honest with you,
I don't know who Mana is. Who's Mana?
I don't know.
Does anyone know Mana?
Joy Division should have been there in
No.
Oh, yeah.
and
Well-
maybe Oasis, but I mean,
My
Yeah,
mom.
but they're combining
They're-
Joy Division
No,
and
no,
New
no,
Order
no,
together.
no.
okay, well that's fair. I mean,
Yeah, but I
guess.
mean, realistically, New Order had the career.
Yeah, but
There's
Joy
still-
Division is a
Hold on.
transformative band.
Yeah, okay. Name another group that did the exact same thing. That got
there
into the
wasn't.
rock.
There wasn't
Oh,
exactly.
Piccolina.
All I'm saying is they're, even though they're same members, New Order's still around today performing.
Yeah.
It should just be New Order.
No, it doesn't because they come out of the Joy Division's an important. If it
Mazzy,
wasn't
is
for
there
Joy
any
Division-
historical? Is there any historical context for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame accepting morphed bands?
Well, different members bands like the Byrds, for instance. There's two different.
No, they accepted the Byrds in there. All I'm saying is, and if anybody was a member,
But it doesn't. Well, they did it this time. I mean, rock and roll is all. There should be no rules in rock and roll. So I get it.
Again, just so anyone can vote. It's not everyone who's ever heard of the band or when the band was out. So I understand the way this voting works. There's weird rules and not
It's
acceptable.
popularity. I
The Hall of
understand.
Fame is
I
a
understand how.
joke.
Bullshit, man.
I
It's
understand
a
how
joke.
popular
It's like
Fish-
putting Pele into the baseball Hall of Fame.
No, it
They
isn't.
They
No,
put anybody in there. And it's
Okay,
not rock
okay.
and roll.
All right, let me give a better comparison because Harry's comparison is completely stupid. The Rock and Roll
Thank
Hall
you.
of Fame, the Rock. No one talk, please, while I'm talking. That really irks me. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is an organization like the Academy who puts on the Oscars, like all these other ones. Their operating budget comes from people visiting their Hall of Fame, but also mostly from the TV rights they sell to HBO to broadcast the show. They're an organization. They're going to do what it takes to get the most amount of people to visit that stupid place. So if they induct the Fish, guess who's going to come? All those stupid ass Fish
Well, I
fans.
understand that.
It's
But
not, it's not the
if that's
Fish.
the premise of this, critique that.
we understand that.
Don't
Now,
have
Fish,
a hissy fit when the band you like doesn't get in.
okay, Fish is a popular band. We know that. We know Tokyo Brian is a big Fish fan, and I respect Fish, but they weren't a transformative band in that case. Now, I disagree with the people that say they should call it the Music Hall of Fame. Mariah Carey's not rock and roll. Rock and roll has an essence. There's a lot of different DNAs in rock and roll. It doesn't have to be pure rock and roll.
True, but Mariah Carey?
Well, shit.
Actually,
big hits album.
Raji's has made the most. Usually, Raji makes 0 sense. He's made the most sense. If Mazzy's going to fight for the Joy Division New Order, then it should be Chubby Checker and the Fat Boy.
Because it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Well,
It's
how
like
is it
four-
not the same? How
Because
many
that's
albums,
like
how many
40 years
albums
later.
did- wait,
That's like 40 years, 30
okay,
years later.
Mazzy. If the Rolling Stones came to Seattle to perform, sans Mick Jagger, would you go see them?
No, but that's not the point.
Well, no,
How
it
about
is the point because New Order, Joy Division, was that guy, was the lead singer. He was the one
but
that
they
gave us
morphed.
faith.
But if you know the music, Rob, they changed their style of music.
How many albums did Joy Division put out? 3?
Two or three.
2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
New Order has been a band for over 40
Of course,
years.
Of course.
They are the
But they
band.
They wouldn't have been
It's
there
not Joy
without. They
Division, New
wouldn't
Order.
have been there without Joy Division. They wouldn't have been there.
Well, but wait a second. Would the Beatles be there without what's his face, Stuart Sutcliffe? It just
Grand Funk
weird.
Railroad absolutely should be there.
Right, Cudter should be there. I mean, come on.
No, Cudter should not be there. He
Are you
probably has
kidding
sold.
me?
How many albums has Fish?
It's not about so. It's
Oh,
about
wait.
importance.
How many albums has Fish legitimately released?
I don't know.
Like
They
a
did a lot of
legit
live
Fish-
stuff. I
Like
don't
a
know.
studio? How many?
Probably 15
I'm not
or
asking
more.
you, man. Anyone out there know how many legit
I think the
studio
Monkees might
albums
be in
Fish
there.
has released?
Oh no, they're not.
How many legit studio albums has Fish released? Isn't it about the way you qualify is you have to release an album. Not 17.
Yeah, look at
they have not done 17.
Marcus writes. It's smart. The Sex Pistols got in, and they released one record, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but it's not okay. But it's not a connection of two separate bands. It's one.
I know, but that's the other argument about how many. It doesn't matter how many records they put out. There are important records that are transformative records.
So Fish put out 17.
It has nothing to do with the records. It's the influence the band had.
Exactly, Harry. Exactly, Harry.
Yeah,
Fish
it doesn't work that way. Who is Mariah Carey influenced?
Me, big time.
Okay, I'll tell you about Mariah Carey. I'm not a big
all the singing pop stars now.
Carey, I'm not a Mariah Carey fan, but that Christmas song she wrote it, is huge.
True. She makes millions every year off it.
NRBQ I've seen a couple times because my buddies were really into them. To me, as great as they are, they're like a glorified bar band.
No, actually,
I would call Johnny.
I would call NRBQ a regional band. To me, they were very big in a certain region of the country.
Well, they play the West Coast all the time. They were big there.
I saw them a few times.
They're a great live band, but they're like a bar band.
My favorite Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee was what's his name?
Rick Wakeman.
Short people.
Randy Newman.
Randy Newman.
Hold on. The guy who rants all the time about shit, Michael Nolan. Dude, get over it. You're not the guy I come to for Beyonce news. I'm sorry, Michael Nolan. So I'm not coming to you for my.
He's right.
Hold on.
Mariah Carey.
It's not the. Get over this fact that it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's a organization that has a building that they want to bring a lot of fucking people to. They can induct whoever the hell they want. They're a private organization. They're not. No one government decided the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame speaks for all rock and roll. But Michael Nolan, stay in your lane. You're not the Beyonce news channel.
Hey, Rick's okay.
But there's almost no bands anymore.
Randy Newman.
Rick's at least go on YouTube and find the song Randy Newman wrote about him getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's called "I'm Dead and I Don't Know It." Yeah, it's about how
Randy Newman is America's second best songwriter ever. Right after Bob Dylan is Randy Newman in my book.
Can I ask? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Who puts up the people to be voted on? Don't people vote to get people on this list? I blame all of you. If you're going to keep naming people that should be in, somehow get them on this list. I disagree with you, Tom. They're in their 60s, Tom, and they're still as big as they ever were. So maybe if not bigger. And I've seen them
get older, though, they shrink a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Flea does not look normal. Okay, I'll admit that.
I was just watching The Big Lebowski yesterday. Flea is hysterical in that.
So what do you think about the theory that Donnie is dead in that movie?
What movie?
Nobody interacts directly with him.
With what movie? What are you talking about?
Big Lebowski.
Oh, I didn't know what we were talking about.
No. I don't think he's dead.
Jeff Bridges, I shared a video. Jeff Bridges talks about it where he says Donnie could not even be around. He died in Vietnam.
Okay, so I know the guy that the Big Lebowski, the dude, is based on. I know that guy. He's a film agent named Jeff Dowd.
Why did they wait? I'm sorry.
He's the one. Okay, you can be sorry after I finish talking. The dude guy, Jeff Dowd, is exactly like that guy. If you ever I've hung around him at Sundance. He's a party dude. He's that dude. He's the dude.
Now, why did they kill Donnie in the parking lot?
I don't know. What do you want?
Why did he have a heart attack?
Donnie's the
Jeff Bridges. Donnie's dead.
Well, we switched this conversation.
Is
really
it the Buscemi guy? Is Buscemi right? He has conversations in the movie, so I don't know what you're talking about. but
Yeah.
he's the everyman. He's us. He's the audience.
Why are we talking about that with this graph right up? If we're talking about Big Lebowski,
Well, we're not finished talking about it. I mean, if you want to stick to what's rock and roll, the Black Crowes to me, I don't
See,
know.
I don't think it
white-
should be just. I think rock
Man,
and roll.
I'm talking, and I can't get a word in.
You can't. Rock and roll is a concept, the whole thing, but there are a lot of influences and sidetracks in rock and roll that I think are important. I think that's what sometimes people miss.
I mean,
Now, go ahead.
If they're gonna pick 4 or 5 from this list of the highest vote getters, I'm fine with Bad Company. That seems like a perfect rock and roll Hall of Fame. Soundgarden, Joe Cocker, and then I believe Chubby Checker.
About Cyndi Lauper. I mean, she was
Cyndi Lauper is I'm okay with, but I'm those bands. But they're gonna have a broadcast on HBO. Do you think HBO would love to have Fish show up and people view Fish?
So they want Mariah Carey to show up. Okay, he keeps losing every year. He's not even on the list this year. Warren Zevon to me should be over most of these people, more than Bad Company, certainly. Bad Company, I would vote for Free before I vote for Bad Company, which is, they're not including those because it's only one member.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think Free is the better band, but not the bigger band. They weren't as big as Bad Company.
Well, why isn't there a conjunction of Free, Bad Company?
Because is it only one guy? I think only the lead singer.
All I'm saying is that Joy Division New Order is stupid. You put either band separate.
Maybe it is an aberration, but I get it. I totally get it because because Joy Division is considered a pivotal, influential band. Where New Order
there are
is
hundreds of those bands, Mazzy.
Not like
New
that.
Order. New Order's had the career. They're still around performing.
Yeah, but if you know the music at the time, the whole Manchester scene,
it's sort of different. New Order went more poppy than Joy Division was.
Yeah, well, they were more of a techno band.
Well, no, I think not shortly out the gate, New Order was popular in the U.S. New Order was huge. I'm not going to say huge. They're popular in the U.S. They tour all the time. They fill the places they play.
Where's Country Joe and the Fish and Quicksilver Messenger Service?
Is Gang of Four in the Hall of Fame?
Shush, guys, please.
But you do all the talking.
No, I'm not doing all the talking. Mazzy just talked. Did Joy Division ever tour the U.S.? Does anyone know this? Did they?
No, because the guy died. The guy died on the eve of the tour.
So why are they added to this list?
Because now here's a good Tom. Small Faces and the Faces got in together, so it has happened before. All right. Small Faces.
No, he's also saying Spooky Tooth.
Yeah, Spooky Tooth was not included. No, the Faces and Small Faces are in, Tom. They got in together.
No, we're not letting Elliot tell stories about. I got so many comments about Elliot's nonsense Mac Davis, Crosby, Stills and Nash, that they called him out saying that is so not true. Elliot, if you're watching,
please come to Chicago, Mac Davis.
Okay, I want to argue with Vinyl Piper about psychedelic albums.
Tokyo wants to know if Zappa's in the hall. Yes, he is. He was inducted by Lou Reed.
Is he with the Mothers?
No. And it was a bit of a weird thing because Frank did not like Lou Reed. They didn't get along at all. And the family was a little pissed off that Lou Reed inducted him.
Yeah, Moby Grape is not in. Moby Grape is not in.
But isn't Lou Reed didn't get along with a lot of people?
Probably.
Every version of Bob Dylan is in. How do you justify that?
I don't agree. Van Dyke Parks, then he should have been put in with the Beach Boys because that was his big success,
That's his claim to fame.
Yes. Why don't you start your own Hall of Fame, Tom, and induct anyone you want?
I mean,
hey, Mazzy, look who's here.
Who? Lisa Harper. I thought she didn't exist anymore. She hasn't been around. Hi, Lisa. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you, Lisa.
After she gets off her job in construction, she puts on a wig and gets in front of the computer.
Hi, nice to see you, Lisa. Seriously. Every version of David Bowie's been in, but but not Tin Machine, which is I don't like Tin Machine.
I like Tin Machine. I don't have a problem with them
Yeah,
at all.
I tried so many times.
I love that it's.
How come the Los Angeles Free Music Society is not in?
Yeah, all you people should get on the board of governors of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's what you should do.
But no Quicksilver Messenger Service and no Country
I
Joe
wouldn't want to be
Fish.
in the VC Hall of Fame.
Well, wait,
No
I wouldn't
Tower
wanna
of
be in
Power.
any
What about
club that
Tower
would
of
have me as
Power?
a member.
Matt,
Is
Matt,
War wait, is War in? Is War in?
I don't know.
War should be in.
Yeah, so but Eric Burden should be in.
Is Love in? I bet you
War.
Love's not in. Love should be in. I still think Cudter because he's been so influential and he got Keith Richards and George Harrison, the slide guitar playing and stuff, and the production. I mean, is Los Lobos in? They should be in.
No, they're not.
Oh, Los Lobos. I mean,
Hey,
X. The
yeah,
band
hold on.
X should be in.
Tapo, have you drinking too much tea with milk in it?
X should be in, not Klaatu. Are the Animals in? That's a good question. Animals should be in, definitely. Are the Animals in?
I remember when the Zombies were inducted.
Los Lobos were nominated once and they didn't get in.
Yeah, but again,
Randy Newman was nominated like 16 times before he got in.
Yeah, but Zevon definitely.
Hey, Roger, were you smoking herbs?
Exactly. If anybody should be in, it should be Mozart and all the
Beefheart.
original.
What about the
OG.
Knack?
Oh yeah.
What about Mac Davis?
Yeah, what about Tiny
Thank
Tim?
you. Thank you.
I'd vote for Tiny Tim.
Weird Al Yankovic, is he in? He should be in.
They all made an impression.
He should be committed. I don't know if he should be in, but he should be committed.
Why?
Is Dada in?
Hey, I'll tell you, I have
Come
a
on,
Dada.
Joey, we're rooting for you.
I have
How
a
about
Dada.
Dada Seven Horse?
I have
together?
a Dada.
There you
Hey
go.
guys, I have a Dada story.
Uh-oh.
So there's a
Dada
new
right
record. There's a new record store in Culver
Are you
City
drunk?
called Sound Platters, and they posted the day before yesterday that they had just gotten 2 Dada records in. I guess maybe there is some out there that didn't get sent out, and then I saw it and I couldn't go because I was working, so I sent the link to Joey, and Joey sent it out to his massive fans. I went by yesterday and he said some dude posted it on social media and some people came in to grab those records. Damn, I
Good.
wish I had more of them. That's what the record store guy said.
Good. Well, that's good. Because there'll always be smaller independent shops that have some of these out of print things. Now, get that Cudter one. That is an amazing record. I mean, it's still around. The only problem with that, it sounds amazing. It's acoustic solo. The problem they did with that, great pressing, everything, great sounding, 1972 live. They have a photograph of him with the Stratocaster on the cover, and it's an acoustic solo. Big mistake there. And it's only $26, $25 record. So if you don't have the Cudter record, man, go get it now. I swear, it's really good. That's like a really sweet spot.
Yes. Hey, I don't have to shill for them. That record's, you can't get it unless you overpay for it.
Yeah, we are shilling because we like the record. I mean, we know the guys, so we're friends too. We support our friends. I'll say nice things to watch Wax's videos, even though I don't like him half the time, but I'd still think he's good at what he does.
Exactly.
Your nose is a little brown there, man.
Hey, Mazzy, would you have a problem if me and you were together to get voted in for the Rock and Roll Fame?
That's funny. People are surprised. Okay, Richie and I did a video, and Richie and I actually, despite all the bullshit, and I always kid around that I bring Richie down because he loses his quote street cred when he does videos with me. But Richie and I get along really well. And
well, you're the only one, Mazzy.
I'm not the only one. Believe me,
Yes,
he's one of those guys. He'll get pissy at stuff. He's not unlike you, but an opposite you.
No, hold on, Mazzy. When I don't care for someone, I flat out honestly tell you here.
I know
I don't like them. I don't go on a parade everywhere I can to bash the people I
All
don't
right.
like.
Anyway,
That's
you know,
not what I'm doing.
people think all Richie likes is punk. He has a wide taste, and he's into
He does.
psychedelia right now more than punk. We just had a good time because we just separately came up with the same album. Now, yeah, it's a comp, but now it's considered canon, and we'll get into that. But it was just a fun conversation talking about that
Okay,
album.
Mazzy, I'm gonna flat out tell you this. Okay,
All right.
I don't care for the Cudter. He does good soundtracks for movies. I will say that.
Yeah.
But one time when the Kinks over toured America, the Kinks seemed to tour every 6 months in the U.S. between the years 1982 and 87.
Yeah.
I saw
When they're
Cudter.
allowed back at the
Cudter.
country.
Shut up, Harry. I'm talking.
You never stop.
Mazzy just spoke for 15 minutes. Okay. So I saw Cudter open for the Kings. We went to go see the Kings, and they were good, but Cudter was horrible. It was horrible.
He could have bad nights, and I don't know. I wasn't there.
You want me to do my impression of Cudter? This band, by the way, they over toured America. I was in an arena, held 16 or 17,000 people. It was half full because the Kings over toured the U.S. But that was beside the point. This is my impression of Cudter at that show opening.
You just don't like the blues, baby.
But no one liked him.
Folk music. Well, okay. Yeah, he
Rob's
was
into that ECM stuff.
He
Leave
was
him
in the
alone.
first Captain Beefheart band too. You know.
He quit Beefheart because Beefheart was
All right.
such an idiot.
Everyone shut up. Harry,
Rob,
say your
shut
stupid
up.
talk.
Jim's
Say your
talking.
Say your stupid shit, Harry.
No, Jim was talking.
Harry, you talk.
This is like being on a debate stage with Trump.
Yeah.
He won't go on a debate stage. So
Yeah,
just
you know
forget about that.
something, Harry? I know you've done a lot of things in your life. I don't think you've ever been on a debate stage.
Yeah.
I'll have you know I'm a master debater.
You know, here's someone who should be in, seriously, and tell me if he's in or not. Nicky Hopkins should be in.
Nah.
Side man.
Who the hell is Nicky Hopkins?
Sideman.
Oh, but
Los Lobos.
but there are a lot of sidemen. There are people like that in, like James Burton, I
Hey,
think, is in.
Hold on. Elliot Cruz, who's down because he made horrible comments the other day, actually making a good comment.
Yeah. I mean, Nicky Hopkins played everyone from the Kinks to the Stones to the Beatles solo to Quicksilver to Steve Miller to Jefferson Airplane.
So he couldn't stay in one band.
How about
Well, he was with Quicksilver
he
for a
should
couple
be in
years.
the Sideman Hall of Fame.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Fair enough. I think James Burton was. There is a thing. What do they call it? There is a division for people like that. You're right. Right, Cudter too. Then, if you want to, either way. Fairport Convention and Pentangle. Absolutely.
No, none of that British folk shit.
Oh, but fuck you. You
Wow.
know,
Let's
also,
arm wrestle right now. I could do it. Oh, shit.
Richard Thompson.
Nick Drake should be in.
Elliot, go read the comments from my live stream the other day. Several people said you were completely wrong about the reference.
What do you mean F-bombs? Fuck. Yeah, we do F-bombs here. It's okay, Kent. Your last name, Daigle. That sounds like an F-bomb or a D-bomb.
Wow.
Yeah, Nicky Hopkins played on Revolution. Right. Nicky Hopkins played on All Fingers Must Pass, played on the Imagine album, you know? I mean,
How about Randy Brecker? He played on everything, man.
Yeah. I mean, then you got Procaro. Isn't Toto in? I don't like Toto at all, but I think they're in.
All the members they played on several bands too. They were all studio.
They played Boss Gag stuff.
Danny Bonaducci should be in.
The Nick Drake box is 4 LPs, all expanded from the first album that Joe Boyd produced. I'm not going to get it at this point.
Hey, breaking news! The Orange County Record Show. Last time we went, Jim got his picture with his favorite, the Egyptian lover. There's another person going to be there.
Des Cadena, Black Flag. Okay.
Misfits, and he'll be there. Go get your picture taken with
They're
him.
really like digging in the barrel this time.
Yeah, they're getting some top-notch art.
Yeah,
Top-notch
top-notch
artists there.
people. They should get some top-notch record dealers there too.
Jim, if you go, can you get some autographs for Dr. Robert?
Yes.
I saw Black Flag with what's his name, the poet.
Hey Dane, I bet you if they put them in, they'd be taking care of business.
I would
That's
go
a hairy
see Don Bowles anyway. Don Bowles, who was with the Cramp? No. Who did Don Bowles play with? Drummer? Anyway.
Couldn't tell you.
The Misfits weren't at Coachella this year, Tom. And what are you doing going to Coachella? You're not a teen girl.
So on the health note, Santana.
Can we get back to Coachella real quick?
We weren't even at Coachella.
No, but I was listening to Scott Galloway talking about it. Apparently 60% of those kids finance those tickets. And I don't know, have any of you guys ever had sex at a music festival? It's intense.
It's intense.
Thank you. Harry got it.
Can someone use technology to develop a way to throw tomato at someone on the internet?
So now the people that went to Coachella and financed it, are they going to get what do they call it? The get it washed away or dispose like they're doing for the student I can't think. Student debt. And they just can wipe that debt?
No.
Let me ask a question really quick. Why the fuck are we giving students a pass on their debt? They borrowed the money. They knew they had to pay it back.
You want a real answer?
Not get a break on my.
You want a real answer to that?
My car loan.
Do you want a real answer to that?
Yes,
because
I do.
Student loans are predatory. People have paid 10 to 15.
What? Don't take it.
Wait. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Harry. There's a difference between a student loan and a loan on your car or a loan on your mortgage or any of these other loans. First of all, if you want to get an education, you kind of have to do that. And maybe it's a mistake to get an education, but you can't go bankrupt on those loans. You can't BK on student debt. You can go BK on
money.
The interest rates. People
you don't. You can go bankrupt on anything.
Guys, everyone, hold on.
Think about
Here's
it.
the deal. Shush.
Think about it.
Here's the deal. I don't want to get political with all this shit. But do you understand? You all agree. So you all agree.
We don't agree.
Why are you shouting about?
I agree.
No, there's a difference.
People after 10 or 15 years have their principal has gone up because what they do, they resell the loans and they have multiple splits of those loans. They're predatory loans. If they were like a mortgage,
Mazzy, respect the stream. You have a point of view. Everyone with your politics, we understand. You have a point of view. But read the room. Most of the people here are here to enjoy what we do and lightheartedness and talk about music mostly. Okay?
Yeah.
Get over it, Harry.
Okay. I just wanted to, bring it up.
You at least have a house or a car for it.
I can, as someone who is an instructor in higher education, I don't know why half these kids go because they're not there to learn. I'll tell you that much. Okay? That's my opinion. So don't take out loans and don't go to college because you definitely don't go there to learn.
Well, some do.
I can, and Mazzy, between you and me, it's really hard to teach my left-wing attitude agenda if they're not there to learn.
Oh, absolutely.
I went to college. Didn't cost me anything. You know why? Because I went on the GI Bill.
My father went to college, and it was
I paid
about $100
and stuff.
So it was about $100 a year to go to
us
UCLA.
taxpayers paid for your college, and
that's
which
right. But I gave you 8 years of my life.
Absolutely, and I support. Absolutely, I support that, Harry.
Guys, chill. I didn't have loans, and I went to 2 colleges. I have 2 degrees. No, with no loans.
It was a different time. You
No,
know,
it was
Sean's right.
hold on.
It used
It
to
was
be
my
affordable.
semester was $350
Yeah,
a semester for
actually,
15
Mazzy,
units.
it cost a lot more than that for me to go to college.
Yeah,
so
mine was
calm
$350 a semester.
All right,
for-
okay,
It's
we
50
get it.
grand a
We
year.
get your
Yeah, but
point
you
of
got
view.
a free ride because you were wearing a bunny
I did
suit.
not get money for being the mascot. You know, my dad. I was technically in state in 2 states. My dad's rule said you can only go to college in these 2 states because you can get in state. But whatever, guys, calm down.
My wife and both of her sisters all went to Berkeley, and they all went on grants, or what do you call it? Because their grades were good. They wanted them there.
And your
Okay.
wife is an immigrant, right?
All right.
No, her great
Oh,
grandparents.
I'm
were.
not against it. I'm just,
All right, Matt. I'd rather talk about you trying to get Harry's wife kicked out of the country.
I'm going to go back to Coachella because I
I'm
have
all for it. Come on.
I have a friend that works for one of the big companies that do concerts, and he went to Coachella. He's in his 40s, okay? He's been going to Coachella on and off for about 15, 20, however long it's been going on. And he said maybe 15 years, but he said this was the worst Coachella he's ever been to. And not because he's in his 40s and a lot of these newer, younger acts, but it's gotten to be like he thought that 2/3 or more of the audience weren't even there for the music at all. It was there for like a visual fashion show, influencer show, and they didn't give a shit about the music. It was to be seen. And it's gotten to be at the end, like what was that big thing in the desert every year?
If you listen to the
Burning
words you're
Man.
saying, Mazzy,
Burning Man. It
you're-
was like Burning Man started out as a good thing if you're into that, being all dirty for weeks, whatever. But it turned into this corporate thing, and that's what Coachella has become. Not that concerts aren't corporate anymore.
Well,
but
hold
he
on,
said it was
Mazzy. Mazzy.
it sounds to me like your friend's a little old.
Yeah, he's
here's
late
the deal.
40s. He is.
Here's the
Yeah.
deal. Some entrepreneur put on these shows, and then the big people came in and bought the rights
Right.
to take it over. That happens with everything.
But
Also, Mazzy,
a lot
those
of
are
people aren't there for the
20-year-olds.
music.
Those are
anymore.
20-year-olds, those are not 40-year-olds. That show is
Didn't
not for
Burning Man
40-year-olds.
start in San Francisco?
It's for 20-year-olds.
Well,
They're there
it was
to make.
based in the Bay Area. They
it
went to
was
the
based
desert.
there.
Yeah,
They
I think
put it together.
I think the organization was based there, Harry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sex at a music festival is intense.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what
he
they're
said
there
it
for.
wasn't.
We should put you
intense.
in a tent.
I mean, what do you mean fashion show? Of course, it's a fashion
Yeah,
show.
Coachella's. I mean,
Hold on.
yeah.
Hold on. Everyone heard like this. The fucking idiot got out of jail, and he tried to put on a second one, and
Yeah.
then that got canceled because he did the same exact stupid ass
And,
shit.
and it worked for the felon, so why wouldn't it work for Fire?
Yeah, Safari
People
Records
bought
has his
tickets.
Coachella tent every
Fools.
year.
Actually, here's the deal. He has a tent where he sells records, but they also give him a spot
Yeah, he does a DJ thing.
DJ set. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how he got funded to open his store from the Coachella people or one of the
Well,
guys.
no,
there.
yeah, he has a relationship with them.
Yeah.
You got to wonder though, isn't shoplifting a huge problem at Coachella in that tent?
Okay, I gotta share a dream. I had a dream last night. One of those. I think it was the Benadryl I took at night, which I don't usually take a drug.
Hey,
but I-
hold on. Lisa Harper, get ready. There's a story
Yeah.
about you.
No, you know who was in my dream? Harry was in my dream.
Oh
And
my God.
no.
No,
No,
it
please.
turned out I found out. Wait,
The
I
mental
found out.
image was a
You
warrant.
said you
found-
weren't going to talk about this.
Let me tell you this. I found out there was this massive record store, the closest to me that I didn't know existed, and I went to it, and it was like a old Tower Records, and Harry had taken it over and had a record store there with a lot of people. It was a big warehouse. It had a bar connected to it, and I walked in there, and I was so excited there was a record store, and I was trying to convince Harry to hire me just for a couple of days to do like what Mike Ingroove does. Like I could do the new release videos. I have an audience. We could build this whole thing. And he kind of let me do it. But I was walking through the aisles, looking at the whole thing at a book section.
It was
a
all
great-
Beatles and Springsteen records, right?
I didn't see that. It wasn't that vivid, but it was weird that I would have a dream of a Tower Records turned into whatever the store is. Like here, I think one of the Tower Records turned into Easy Street, maybe on Mercer Street. I'm not sure. Way back in the day in Seattle, it turned into something else.
Bank now.
Yeah, but before that, I think it was
Yeah.
something. And I thought that was just so cool. That thank you, Harry. You hired me to be your like spokesperson, your influencer.
And you want to be my architect?
Now, can we dissect this? Can we do some analysis on this dream?
Exactly.
Look, we ran Jim
Now,
off.
Harry, when you woke up this morning, was your ass sore?
It was a nice store. You had a good inventory. You had a lot of people working there, which is weird, but you know.
And I had a sign over the bar that said 1 martini.
Well, it was a separate bar. It was like connected to the building, but it was a separate owner or something. I remember. Yeah.
Isn't this hilarious? Essentially, a dream is you dream several times a night. It's what you remember. It's the one right before you wake up.
I guess.
This was minuscule of seconds, but how detailed Nazi's dream was.
Oh, when I have a dream, I remember. It's very detailed. It is in color, and it's very detailed. And usually I forget them, but this, I just totally forgot it until I was talking to Harry here, and I remembered that being in it, walking around in that store.
Hey,
Oh,
Harry,
I remember. And I asked you one thing. This is how detailed it was. I said, "Where's your new release section?" And you said you didn't have one. And I said, "We have to have
I don't sell new records."
No, maybe that's why. No, I said you have to have a new release section, like an end bin that has every week you put your new releases. And I remember saying that, and you said you didn't have one. I said, "Oh, we got to change that."
Hey, all I'm going to do is give you a warning, Harry.
Roger, you may say I'm a dreamer.
The next time you see Mazzy in person, he might hug a little tighter.
Oh, whatever.
I had a dream that I trashed my dad's car. That was my dream last night.
I had a dream that Joy
I'm
Division
dreaming
and
right
New
now.
Order were the same band. Yeah.
Hold on. Someone had a dream.
I had a dream that I went to Chicago to meet Mac Davis.
Hey, by the way, I saw on social media, I didn't realize, is Larry Flint, is he still alive? And they were wheeling him out, and he didn't look alive. It was like it was like Weekend at Bernie's situation.
Wow. Anyway, the news report apparently, I don't know if he's in a hospital still. Carlos Santana had to go in the hospital yesterday for some emergency thing. So hopefully,
I thought he collapsed during a sound check or something.
Something happened. I don't know exactly, but so we wish our best for Carlos Santana. He must be in his late 70s now.
Well, he's a regular viewer of the show.
How many people went out and watched the movie Conclave this week?
I've seen
I
it.
did.
Well, you don't have to go out and watch it. It's streaming on the internet. Or you go.
And I gotta say, it's the most ridiculous ending.
Don't spoil it. I like the.
Yeah.
I
don't
know,
spoil
but I
it.
just
Let
thought it was
Mazzy
stupid.
spoil it. That's what he does.
I'm not going to spoil it. This Sunday, I'm going to see the IMAX of Pink Floyd Pompeii. That's playing starting today. So if you get a chance, Pompeii is just for this week or 5 days or something in IMAX.
And Monday, I'm going to see the John Lennon 1-to-1 film.
I haven't seen that. I don't know if it's still playing here. I have to see.
I thought, is it
Why don't you come with us? We're going to go to the Grand Cinema in Tacoma to see it.
Monday.
It's a one night thing.
It's at 2:00.
Do you have tickets already?
No, not yet. I'm going to buy them today, though.
Let me look on my.
So send me a text later if you want me to get one for you.
So it's Monday the 28th.
Yeah, 2 p.m.
Oh, I could.
We were going to go out for lunch around noon.
Yeah, send me a text after this, and I'll know in the next 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you could talk about Mazzy's dream in person.
Yeah.
I'm a fake Beatles Lennon fan. The last 2 weeks have just been so busy with, going to Record Store Day, then going to Vancouver. Then I got sick. My son came and visited all weekend, and he had a cold, of course, and he told us up front. And Michelle came to visit for the week. We all were here the weekend, and Michelle and I, of course, got sick separately. I mean, so if you can't get it from your son, who are you going to get it from, right?
An alpaca.
Well, I didn't go up there. It was at my place here, but
Bob's
hey,
not
you
a-
know, Bob Callan, if you haven't seen the Pompeii film is amazing. It's great. And it's what's great about it, it was filmed in 71, so it's like a year and a half before Dark Side. There's a one track, I think, I forgot which track, that's on Dark Side later. It's great. And it sounds great because they're tight, but they're raw, they're live without an audience. And it's filmed.
They said that they didn't realize that they couldn't get power out there for everything. They had to run like a 750-meter cable or some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got the DVD, the original DVD that I watched a couple
Well, they
weeks ago.
found the cut negative this time. That's what this is from. And there is a Blu-ray.
They blew it up.
And it's IMAX, yeah, but it's 35 millimeters, so it should look good. I've heard it looks great. They restored it, and I heard it looks great. There's a couple of people comment on the Hoffman forums who saw it last night. I think last night was the opening night in some cities. So, you know, if you're not a Pink Floyd fan, of course you're not gonna like them. But that's the time to see them right before before Dark Side. Like it's because of Metal and Obscured by Clouds around that period. Is it Us and Them? Yeah, that's right. I think it's Us and Them.
Elliot, I will send you a link if you promise not to tell any stories.
Now people are going to. Okay, so let's see.
No stories, Elliot. You will be muted.
I'm just going to say, where's Chris?
Yeah, it's Us and Them on here. And you know, the criticism. Okay, it was remixed. It was remixed by Stephen Wilson, and
they do good then.
They do split. Yeah, it is good. I haven't watched the Blu-ray. I listened to the album, but I haven't done the Blu-ray. Now, some people criticize why did they split up Echoes? Echoes Part 1, then at the very end, Echoes Part 2. That's because of the director for the film. That's how he splits it up in the movie. And so it's a soundtrack to the movie. That's the reason why it's split in two. And it works in terms of the sequencing here. But it is split. That's the way it was done for the film originally. That's why it's done here. So suck on that. Yeah.
I had a dream that Roger.
I warn all of you. Don't get on.
Cold.
I warn all of you, don't get on Mazzy's bad side or he'll dream about you.
Yeah, that's the studio portion of Us and Them. There's a whole thing in the studio too. Yeah.
All right. Count your moments until Elliot will be joining us.
Animals playing Obscured by Clouds. Oh, good. I'm glad you got Obscured by Cloud. That's a good one.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Darren Record Pound. He sent me a very nice VCLT that I got yesterday, about 5 records. And I don't know if he's watching, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Were they good records?
He sent me like 4 comedy albums because we did a live stream together where we talked about comedy records. And then he sent me that Beatles box set bootleg right there over my finger called Away with Words. I'd never seen that before.
Final Proof.
Final, huh?
Final. Hopefully. Hey, Elliot.
Hey, how's everybody?
Terrible. Got a minute?
Yeah, sure. Tell me all about it.
First thing, my daughter married an idiot. My wife gives me a hard time. I got a rash on my ass. I can barely sit down, but I don't complain.
Yeah, you don't get no respect, do you?
That's right out of The Big Lebowski. That was the cab driver.
Great movie.
Thank you, Lisa.
I come here with. I planned on coming here, Rob, with hat in hand, but I left my hat upstairs, so I don't come with hat in hand. But I've decided that given the tenor of this decade we're living in, just because I was totally wrong doesn't mean I have to admit it. So I'm going to stand by my statements about Mac Davis because I went back and re-listened to Four-Way Street. And on there, clearly, Graham Nash says before Chicago, this one goes out to Mayor Daly.
Mayor Daley.
Mayor Daley.
And a lot of
Mayor
y'all,
Daley.
everybody else seems to think he's saying Mayor Daley, but in his accent, misinterpreting it, he's actually saying Mac Davis. And so
Can
I can see where
Can I
you might
respond to?
do that.
Can I
Yeah.
respond to you, Elliot? please?
yes, but let me add, this is based on a 8-track tape I had when I was 14 years old that was a copy from a record album or another 8-track tape. So it's several generations old when I listened to it. And that was planted in my brain when I
Okay.
was 14. And you know
Can
how
I just
hard
add
it
to
is
this?
get something out.
Elliot, it's Kiss the Sky, not Kiss
It
the,
is.
it's Kiss the Sky.
Now, here's a question. Four-Way Street. Why does it start with the very ending of Sweet Judy Blue Eyes? I've never understood
because
that.
they blew that song. It just, they fucked it up.
All right. I forgot what I was going to respond to Elliot
So
about.
it's
Well,
Kiss
do
the
you accept
Sky.
my unwillingness to accept that I was wrong?
Elliot,
Yeah.
it's not what you say; it's how long it takes you to say it.
Well, just to add to that, I won't, we've disparaged Mac Davis a whole lot. So I went through my collection. And let me speak, Rob. Let me speak, Rob. And I think we need to know that Mac Davis put out some really good work, even before.
Yeah, but is he in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Now, make me big, Rob, so we can highlight these albums.
Yeah. Elliot, hold on.
Instrumental
One request, Elliot. Elliot, I will let
Elliot, that's Miles Davis.
No,
It's
Mac,
not
that
Mac
was his
Davis.
nickname.
Oh,
When
guys,
he did jazz,
please.
his nickname was Miles.
Elliot, I will make you big if you tell me that you tried this shtick out on your wife before you did.
I just want to know, did
He
I
would not have
did
any
I make
idea what I
Manzi
was
big
talking about.
in our dream?
Oh no, you didn't
Whoa.
say that. Wow.
It was not a sexual dream, records to me are sexual. So
Everybody had a wet dream.
Hey,
Everybody saw the sunshine.
it was not a sexual dream Mazzy had, but he was feeding grapes to Harry. This has never come out of my mouth. So
Yeah.
please treasure it. Save us, Dr. Robert.
Well, I'm sorry I missed whatever it is you need saving from.
How many autographs do you have from Mac Davis?
Do you have this Mac Davis album, Doctor?
Mac Davis. No, I do have that album. Yeah,
I think everyone on this stream is retarded in one way or something.
You can't say that.
I just said it. I literally just said it.
You're not as a Democrat.
No. Oh, don't give me that. See, I'm not. That whole thing of we have to say this, we can't say that. Even as a liberal, I think that is bullshit. That stuff that we can't say things. Now,
Sometimes I agree with
if I'm
those
aiming,
others.
if I'm aiming it at someone who happens to be mentally challenged, that's rude. But
I have
for
a great
you-
Polak
for you
joke
mooks-
I haven't been able to
For
tell
you
since
mute
the-
mooks, I'm sorry.
I have a Polak joke that I have not been able to
Oh,
tell
no.
since the second Clinton administration. So
Uh-oh.
Well,
and
We're waiting.
That's
you burn your lips on the tailpipe, Jim.
Yeah.
What
you want to hear
horrible
my
record-
Polak joke? No.
Oh,
It's
hold
not
on. Dr. Robert
yes.
has had several days, I believe, or at least one full day, to use two different record cleaning setups.
Yeah, he's got two.
And
What's the
I want
sound?
it to be, and I'm glad I want it to be said in a public way that we told Dr. Robert one was better than the other? And then what is your conclusion, Dr. Robert?
Well, it's complicated, as you might guess, but I will, I started cleaning with the Humming Guru yesterday, right? I got it, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. We had company and I had to get, I had to kind of get up to speed on it. And in full disclosure, since that's such an important issue in the vinyl community, I did get a discount. I didn't get this as free swag, but they gave me 25% off in order to make a video comparing the Humming Guru with the other one that I've had for years, which is the Glass audio desk system. And I've really dug in. I mean, in addition to using them, I've dug into the information that's out there on them. And, the Glass, and that's what I remembered. The Glass, when I bought it, it was probably around 2014. If you go back and look at the reviews, it was one of the very first machines that described itself as ultrasonic, which I'm not certain really is true, but they claim to be ultrasonic. And, it is very convenient. I mean, you just put the record in, fill it up with water, put the record in, push the button, boom, and it never did a very good job at drying. I mean, it was always, you had to sponge off the record when I pulled it out. It was also very loud. It irritates the hell out of my wife when I use it. And
Dr. Robert, when you do that, do you say, nurse, sponge?
Old habits die hard, Harry, but no, I'm over that. So at any rate, it's got some stuff, it's got some stuff. And I did a couple videos a while ago about it, about the audio desk. And it, one of them included putting tinfoil in the chamber to see if it pitted it, which if it's a significant ultrasonic device, it should, and it did not. And I know I've seen a video with Michael Fremer talking about it, and he says it's not. He calls it just a bubbler. Okay, but it's weird. In their information, they still describe it as ultrasonic, and it does do a very nice job of cleaning records. So I've always liked it, but it has also proven to be subject to breaking down. So I'm on my 5th version of this machine. I know that seems like a lot, and why would you do that? I mean, I bought the first one at full price, and the reason I keep using them is the company that markets them here gives me great prices now. So I got less than half the cost for the second one, less than half the cost for the third one, and then the third one and the fourth one both broke in very short order, and now I'm on my 5th one. And it took them, and this is the part that really was upsetting to me, they took 5 months to get me a fucking replacement because they were having trouble manufacturing them, I guess. So that's what that was. So then I've been looking around and trying to decide
when they're making them, part of their process is putting tinfoil in there to see that it's not pitted.
Yeah. Thank you for your insight.
Tell us the name of that one again, Dr. Robert.
That is called the Glass Audio Desk Systema. The guy who invented it is his last name is Glass. And I give him a lot of credit, and I give this company a lot of credit because they really did start, I think, in a big way, the movement towards high-end record cleaners. With this, it was when it came out, it was the only game in town. So now the Humming Guru is smaller, it is quieter, it is definitely ultrasonic. And there's a video, and I'm going to do that myself. I am going to make another video comparing the two, but
it uses a lot less water,
and it does.
Can I ask a question?
Water.
So, did you spend all told over the 5 years? Did you invest over or around $10,000 in the desk?
No, less. So I
first one was $4,000.
First one at market price was $4,000. The second one was $1,500, and the third one I think was $1,600.
So that's $7,000.
Right. Ooh. And it's a lot, I grant you. But
and then the other two
were totally free. So I guess I'd paid
totally free.
Yeah, I had
so
to
for $7,000.
Yeah.
You've got a broken.
I'll just come here and watch the records for you.
He could have put a person through college for the amount he spent.
Exactly. Oh, actually, right. No, not.
And then let them default on the loan.
Oh. Well, you guys can tease me, but I think, I don't regret any of those decisions. And I just think that now it's different. Now you've really got to look at 5 or 6 different models as possible high-end cleaners and just decide how much. And now there are those that are more expensive than the glass. So
Hey, hold on one
expense
second.
isn't always
Hold
an
on.
indication.
Rob's talking. Shush.
uh-oh.
Rocco, you got a humming guru and you made a video about it. So, and humor's not your deal. So just be honest. He has a video about the humming guru he made. Thank you. I had to do that.
Well, mine's
I
Go back
bought
to
the
talking,
music.
people.
I bought the music hall because it was on sale, 30% off. Got it for about $530. Not an ultrasonic, just a traditional record cleaning machine. I like it. It does a really good job. A lot of good features, but I found out a month or so later the reason it was so much off. Music Hall had been bought out by another company, an audio company, and they are now discontinuing their record cleaning machine and putting all their eggs in the turntable basket. So, but they assured me, I sent them a message covered, and they had plenty of replacement parts in case anything went wrong.
Wait. Music Hall's making egg baskets?
–
Yes.
Can I
Easter,
respond to Turkey
every Easter
comment?
Every Easter.
The Guru does break down, but like when I bought mine, I think I paid $450 for it.
right.
But when it broke down, they sent me a board very quickly at no charge. It took me all of about 15 minutes to take it apart, put the new board in, put it back together. It worked great.
Cool.
I mean, their customer service is outstanding.
And I'll say
I had to
that.
replace the pump for the water pump.
Yeah.
It cost me $25, and that included shipping. I put the pump in again, 15 minutes. Yeah, you can't beat their service, and you can't beat their price.
On my original humming guru,
Fair enough.
and I consider myself a heavy user, cleaning on average 5 to 10 records a day. After 2 years, the motor that spun the records around died.
Mm-hmm.
My machine was a couple months out of warranty, and only for $25 shipped. They sent me the motor with instructions on replacing it. That machine is so well thought out, and it would start as a Kickstarter that they made it with the understanding that people could make repairs to it themselves, regardless of your understanding of how things work. Their videos and instructions are great, and I put it in. It works perfectly fine.
I would really like to buy the new one that's out there.
Well, the new one has fixed some of the issues that you experienced on the other one. So they found the problems. They upgraded the tank situation and the replacement things. Now it doesn't mean it's not going to. And you can put any
size. You can put any size vinyl in there.
The problem with the Humming Guru is that it is just as good as the Degritter. It's just as good as all of them. And
why is that a problem?
It's a problem for guys that want to spend money.
Well, you could buy 4 to 5 Novas. You could have 4 to 5 Novas for one Degritter if you want to do a whole batch of
and as nobody wants to admit that a $500 or $600 machine will clean your records as good as a $4,000 machine.
Right.
People don't want to admit that.
I'll go one better for you folks. A sink, some brushes, and some good homemade.
That is an awesome way to destroy a record easily.
Records as good as any record cleaning machine. All a record cleaning machine,
my time is more valuable.
Is for convenience. That is.
Elliot, make sure that you clean your Blue Notes that way, because I guarantee you, when a little bit of water gets on a Blue Note label, it's gone, my friend.
Well, they make a. They make
the Humming Guru is just easy to use.
If your time is not worth it, Elliot, that's a good thing. My time is more valuable than that. And I will say, the people are saying you shouldn't have to replace this or that. think of a Dyson vacuum cleaner, not a cheap vacuum cleaner, but the way they make it to pull it apart, to clean it, it's like it's like a kid's, not a Rubik's
I'm
Cube.
not a fan of
But
Dyson.
you can just order a certain part and you can fix a Dyson cleaner yourself, and you can order very
But
cheaply.
even that, Mazzy, is very inconvenient. When you buy a new product for good money, it ought to be able to last you
Of
without
course.
breaking
But shit
down
happens.
for a long time.
Let me say something about
Don't
that.
cars break down
These three
sometimes?
guys,
I-
these four guys down here, they're not normal record collectors. They're dealers. So they're cleaning like 100 records to every one I'm going to clean. So
Look
for
for
me,
it,
I bought a Humming Guru 2 years ago on eBay. I mean, on Amazon. Zero problems. It's just a no fucking brainer. Before that, I had a V8, which was, one of those ultrasonic tanks that with a rotisserie on it that'll clean 8 at a time. That thing was awesome.
That's
thing
not
was
just for
amazing.
records, right? That's not just for records. People use
This was set up. This
But
was
you get
set
a
up
setup.
just for
You get-
records.
You set it up, but it's built to be.
Yeah, I did have the DIY thing, and it was
And
good.
that one was
It
nice.
just used too much water. It used
No,
way-
that one
yeah,
was nice
too much
because
water.
that one was nice because you could adjust the setting of the of the bubbles or whatever, and you could adjust the temperature.
Hey,
It was very adjustable.
Hey, Rocco, I put 500 records through the. I've had the Nova for 3 months. I probably cleaned over 1,500 records with it so far.
Right.
But for
I'm
someone like
I'm a
me,
high-end user of the machine.
Right.
for someone
Well-
like me, who just cleans records when he once in a while, for $500, the cheap one, it cleans it and
I think
dries
it's
it.
a little more than that now. Isn't it pushing 700 for the Nova?
It's
The
700.
Nova, but there's
Nova
also don't they
list.
still make the little one?
They do.
Yeah,
They make
or only
the
the
Nova
Nova.
as well as the Nova. I mean, I agree with
At any
almost
rate.
everything everybody said, but I got to say to Elliot, I mean, ultrasonic cleaning method is more effective. It just is. It deep cleans the record in a way that just rinsing it cannot do.
Here,
It
Real
causes.
quick,
I can
That's the
I can
word for
dispute
it.
that with you, Robert.
There's a scientific
Record-
process.
Well, yeah,
Correct.
Elliot, actually, factually, you cannot dispute it because you don't own an ultrasonic.
yeah.
Well, no, I can make an argument for
But
record
Elliot,
cleaning.
in all fairness, everyone respects the way you've done videos about cleaning records. But please understand, you can't make the comment if you haven't owned an ultrasonic cleaner. You
Well,
can't.
no, that's not the point.
I hand washed my Mac Davis records.
The
Yes.
point is,
That you should do.
With peanut butter.
Here, Elliot,
Max,
can I
The point is-
just real quick?
I use toe
This-
jam.
and I know as a society we're drifting away from actually believing in science, but this is science. It's
Yeah.
It's
So
two
Elliot,
different-
here,
two
can I talk to
different
Elliot real quick?
approaches.
Elliot, I have a VPI, which is where you take water and then it vacuums it
I
off.
used to have
Very-
a VPI. I still have a VPI. Yes.
Very similar to the sink situation, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Absolutely.
right.
Okay. So I also had the ultrasonic V8 machine, which they don't make anymore. A friend of mine owns a record store, came over to me with a record. The record had an invisible thumbprint thing on it. Every time you played it, it went whoosh, whoosh. You couldn't see anything. I put it on the ultrasonic. It got rid of 70% of it. Then I went and did the VPI with the water. It got rid of a little more. Then I went back to the ultrasonic. I had to go back 4 times. And after that, it was gone. And that record went from being an $880 record to a $300 record. It required both.
I think that makes a good
It
point.
required both.
That makes a very good point. Let me just say one thing about it. When there are two different, you're talking about two different ways of removing things from the groove. The ultrasonic is sending the bubbles in there to burst in there.
Cavitation.
To break up. Okay. If you're using a record cleaning machine or doing it by hand in a sink, you're using a chemical process, a detergent that is breaking up the organic matter in the record. Both
Can I tell
work.
you how much of that detergent I take out when I do the ultrasonic. There's
Yeah.
so much detergent
You've
left
got
in
to-
the groove.
You can't have your cleaning solution can't have too much detergent in it
You're
because
leaving
you
detergent
can't
in the
wash it
groove.
down
I'm
if you have too
forming all that.
much.
Well,
Both,
Elliot,
but my point is both work, and I can add one step to my record cleaning and do the same thing with a problem record that you can do with an ultrasonic, and that is add an acid wash to the cycle, a cleaning, which is just a high pH cleaning solution, and it will break up anything that won't come out with the others.
Okay, Elliot.
And it will do it as good as an ultrasonic.
It takes me 10 minutes to clean a record. I put it in, I walk away. How long does it take you to do it that you have to stand there and do all the manual labor to clean one record?
About 5 minutes. 4 or 5
You
let
do
me ask
all
you,
that in 5 minutes.
Elliot, are your hands wet? Can you play records while you're doing it, turn records over, or your hands wet the entire time?
No, I use a brush.
But you're doing the work. What
You're brushing
Terry
it for
says,
5
you
minutes.
push a button and you can walk away. I can close the door and go and listen to music, come down 8 minutes later.
Okay. Here's my response. Here's my response to that. If I can make a response to that?
No.
Okay, Rob, when I can, let me know.
All I'm saying is, like, Rich's this whole notion of 40 hertz or 120. I mean, all these opinions.
They're just bubbles.
No,
Yeah,
all
no,
these
it's
opinions.
totally
Look,
different.
here's what it boils down to. Whatever works for you works for you. But I'm letting you know from having 5 different ways I clean records over the course of collecting and selling records. The Humming Guru is the best I've had. Best results.
Best value.
That's
Best
best
value. No. Actually, Elliot, best for you because you've bought records from me that I've done it with.
Right.
So don't go there. My opinion is based on a lot of experience. But whatever works for you, fine. I'm not here to
piss everybody off right now.
But I'm letting you know. Okay,
Can
I'm letting you know right now. There is more to a process of putting a record together to the best of its ability than just cleaning it. And
The
I go
best
through.
record
Can I make
cleaning
2
system
points, please?
Is Hermes.
Can I make 2
Where I
points?
said it.
Okay, go make your points.
Okay. Number one, if you'll dig deep, and I know Dr. Robert has done so, into the use of ultrasonics, I think you'll find that the people that get the best results also have a traditional wash step in there along with using the ultrasonic. So they're using a manual or a semi-manual cleaning to complement the ultrasonic. The second comment is
here's the point. Here's the problem with your point. Here's the problem with your point, Elliot. You don't own an ultrasonic.
I'm not
Also,
saying
Elliot,
my issue with
Also,
you,
Elliot, your point
you
is gone.
historically, Elliot.
I'm
you've
not
been-
saying
true.
anything derogatory.
Everybody,
about
shut up!
Humming
Shut
Guru.
up,
No,
Elliot.
you
Here's the
shut up.
problem. Here's the problem with your stance, Elliot. I have no problem with what you've determined is the best way to clean records, but again, you have to understand this. You've never owned an ultrasonic.
I know.
So,
Right.
so y'all are saying that ultrasonic is superior.
no,
I'm saying
not. No,
it's
hold on,
not superior.
Elliot. No one
It's
is saying
different.
Elliot. No one is
I
saying
am.
ultrasonic is
Yes,
superior.
you are.
I am.
Yes,
Elliot.
you are.
Well, you know what, Elliot? It doesn't matter.
I am.
Okay, we'll play your game, Elliot. Ultrasonic is superior to any other cleaning method. Still doesn't change the fact that you've never owned an ultrasonic, Elliot.
Right.
I've listened to.
Do you put your records on the
Tell me about-
clothesline with clothespins to let them dry?
But my other point was
Don't do
to
it on a
Mazzy's
Sunday.
point about he made just a moment ago. I'll use this analogy. When do you get your car cleaner? When you go to the gas station and you get the coupon when you fill up to go through their automated car wash, or when you get out in your driveway with a sponge and bucket and clean the car.
The car wash.
That's
The car
a bad
wash.
That's
Blue
a bad
Bear,
comparison.
Blue Bear car wash in the Seattle area. You get it cleaner.
That has
Brown bear.
absolutely-
That has
Actually,
nothing to do.
Yeah,
hold
That
on.
has
Bears.
nothing
I got
to
a
do
blue
with
bear.
records.
Nothing.
Hold on. Out of
Elliot,
any,
Elliot, love you, man. It's not
literally.
about. Can I just speak? I've been very patient.
Hold on. Before you speak, Dr. Rob, I was
And
going
you
to
get the
set you
clear
up.
coat for another 50 cents.
Guys, be quiet. The only one up here right now that has any room to make some sort of comparison is Dr. Robert, because he's actually using two separate machine cleaning methods to clean records. So let Dr. Robert tell you what he's concluded in the very short period of time he's had both machines. Go, Dr. Robert.
Listen, Elliot, I appreciate that you are dedicated, and I'm sure you do an excellent job at cleaning your records, and you have the same goal in mind. One of the things I wanted to say is, if you look at, and I'll give the glass people a lot of credit for this, they essentially created this new aspect of record cleaning 10 years ago that now has, for better or worse, it is very popular. I mean, ultrasonic machines are out there in a lot of our hands. And if you buy a lot of records, if you own a lot of records, I think it's worth the investment. And if I go back to my glass audio desk, I paid $4,000 for the first one, and I cleaned 4,000 or 5,000 records for it. So it's $1 a piece per record. And I will say, I think it adds $1 of commercial value to pretty much every record I've cleaned, at least. The second one lasted for 5,000. So at about a third the price. So it's not a terrible investment. The other thing I wanted to say is the Humming Guru people, I wanted to echo what Harry said, and this is unrelated, but to your dispute, Elliot, but the Humming Guru company is very well thought out, and I give them a lot of credit for just 3 years in coming out with a second new improved model that addresses a lot of the issues they'd heard about regarding their first version. And that's something that the audio desk people didn't really do. And I wanted to show this record. This was an interesting one that
Will the prices go up because of tariffs, because they're Chinese? Or
well, they probably will. But I got mine, as I said before, I got mine ordered. But this is a record that I had, and I've just recently purchased. I love his stuff. And this is an old original pressing on Battle Records. It's a label I barely have any other records on, I don't think. At any rate, whoever owned this first, and I didn't notice it in the record store, I probably would have left it, but whoever owned this carried it around one day after eating Cheetos and licking their fingers, and there was like glue. I mean, it was like glue, and it was several millimeters thick, a couple of places. And I cleaned it on the glass about 3 times, and then I tried to scrub it off outside of the glass, and I could not get it off. And yesterday with the Humming Guru, it's not fully off, but it is almost off. And so I do believe that it is a better cleaner than the glass audio desk. That's my impression. And I do believe the reason is because it's legitimately an ultrasonic cleaner. And the last thing I'll say is you can add detergent, and I think most people do add a wetting agent to the ultrasonic machines. And so they still have the advantage of that also giving the cleaning fluid access to the deepest part of the grooves. That's my point.
Now, the one thing they won't do is they won't clean fingerprints or surface, so you will get a cleaner looking record, Elliot, by washing that by hand. But when I see a record that needs that, I do wipe it off by hand before I put it in the Humming Guru.
So
Actually, that's my process. My process is I have a spray. I spray the record. I first wipe it off. Then I spray the record and wipe that off, and then put it in the Humming Guru. I do have a process.
Elliot, do you use distilled water?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for me, by far,
I'm not disparaging ultrasonics by any means. I'm not. They do a wonderful job, but I'm just saying that.
Well, you don't know they do a wonderful job because you don't know
nothing
one.
about it. It's like
Yeah,
talking
you
about
sent me. I bought records from you, Rob. That you.
Well, I
ultrasonic
mean,
played.
again,
Yeah, but you gotta,
but Elliot, you're such a man of convictions with a lot of experience. To me, when you explain, because I think one of the best things you've done since you've been on YouTube is over explain how you clean records. It seems weird to me. that with all this stuff that you kind of diss ultrasonics without actually using one.
But you know,
I'm
wax.
not dissing them.
I want
I'm
to
just
defend
saying there are
Elliot.
other methods.
I want to
do something.
defend you for a minute, Elliot. I want to defend you for a minute because those you all know here for 50 years, I said, I don't need to clean records. I don't want to clean records. My records are really clean.
Right.
I started doing it obviously because the
Pressure.
the Humming Guru was a reasonably priced, I think, and I split it with the archivist originally. We bought one at Christmas time for the house when she was living here. Eventually, we bought each other out, and she bought another one, so it worked out. But I was getting a lot of Coleman collection and Dizzy collection records that are really filthy. That's when I started using it more. My collections were pretty, with some exceptions, pretty clean, even my own for 40, 50 years old. I have records I didn't have sleeves on, no ring wear. I kept them clean. But there are certain records of mine that needed it. And I was a convert from nothing. And because of that price point and that ultrasonic, it was a perfect, it really flipped me on it. I became a believer. Like
Right.
How
all
are
of a
you
sudden,
defending Elliot?
I believe in
with saying that the
Jesus.
Humming Guru's he's better. How are you defending Elliot with that?
No, because he
Mazzy,
comes from that next step, like you don't need a humming. Like I didn't need any cleaner, and all of a sudden I saw the light.
I'm gonna-
Mazzy, in your dream, had you gone to the back room, you would have seen that Elliot cleans all my used records.
Okay.
Hey, Elliot.
I missed
Elliot,
that.
I have my old Humming Guru that
I don't
I've
think there
not
was a back
sent
room.
on. That I've not sent on to another person. I still have my old Humming Guru. So
I would
Go
just-
send it to me then.
I was going to say, Elliot, you might try honestly reaching out to the Humming Guru company and suggest that you would make a video comparing theirs to the hand washing technique. That's essentially what I did, and they gave me a nice discount. And I think some of the panelists got theirs for free for swag. I think there's a lot of value in discussing these things, and you would add to that in a unique way. So
I asked them if I could trade my unit in on the new one, and they said no.
No.
I would
yeah,
suggest.
but you meant your penis, Harry, not the.
I would suggest that everyone read Neil Anton's manual for cleaning records. He does not take a stance on what the best method of cleaning is, but he goes through it scientifically and examines and explains and makes suggestions for any method, from ultrasonic cleaning to hand cleaning in the sink to to record cleaning machines. Neil Anton's precision aqueous cleaning of
Everyone's
vinyl
got
records.
an axe to grind, Elliot. Everyone's got a fucking axe.
No,
to grind.
he's
Manual cleaning versus
he doesn't take a
ultrasonic
stance.
cleaning.
Please let
Okay.
me say this. He doesn't take a stance favoring one over the other. He is a engineer. He is retired Navy, where he worked in precision cleaning in submarines and things like that.
Go
where
on.
it's extremely important. And he's retired, and this is his hobby. And the manual is free of charge, and he doesn't try to sell you anything, but he gives in depth. Now, if you don't want to get deep into it, then you don't want to look at this manual, but it is very good. And he shows how each method, using the right processes, can be a positive experience in cleaning records.
But
Can I share
40%,
something
but
real quick?
40% of Americans don't believe in science and factual things anyway. So whatever he says in his paper doesn't. Most 40%.
Well, wants to show something, Jim. You could show something. Is the Boomer Scalper article being kicked out of this month's issue?
It's way out. No, I want to talk about. No, I still want to talk about record
Black
cleaning.
days.
Oh,
Don't make me big. I just want to say the best record cleaner out there. It's a pain in the ass. It's the Kermis. It does a better job than any of them. but any of them could adopt the Kermis method,
But
which
the
is
Kermis is a
Yeah,
lot
but-
of work.
Hold
a
on.
lot of work.
You have to
And I
put
will
a white
only do
coat
the
on.
Be
record
fair,
that I really
the
care
Kermis
about.
is a big ultrasonic machine, but part of his cleaning method is like dusting for fingerprints at a crime scene.
Right.
And that's the most important. That's the most interesting part. That part is where you get to see when I do that. That's where I get to see all the soap that Elliot left in the grooves comes up.
I
And then
don't leave
clean it
any
again,
soap in the grooves.
and then I do that again, and I
That
get to
you
see
know
all
of.
the soap
Look,
and all
look.
the shit. Trust me, Elliot. Trust me. Give me 10 of your records, and I'll bring the soap out of them.
Do
Oh,
you
yeah.
know how to tell
In
whether
return,
there's
5 of them.
any residual cleaning solution left on the record? Do you know how to tell?
Yes,
I know
you
how to
lick it-
tell.
You
I know
lick
how to
it, and
tell.
you can taste it.
I do know how to tell. I have a method. I have a method.
What's
doing
the
it.
method, Jim?
I take what's that shit called? That
Water.
Turgicol.
yeah, I take a little turgid, a little magic turgicol shit,
Surfactant.
and I take and I spray it on the after I've cleaned your record. After I clean your record, your clean record that you give to me, I will put it in and clean it again, and then I'll take it out and I'll put the Turgisol on with a brush, and it'll bring up more shit. It'll do it.
You're
3 or
putting it
4
on.
times, Elliot.
Let me tell you how to tell whether you
After
properly.
you clean your record, that's
Okay,
what will
well, let
happen.
me tell you how you properly check to make sure there's no residual solution.
How?
You spray distilled water over the record, and you brush it to brush out any remaining residual. Then you vacuum it, and then you spray it again. When you spray it again with distilled water, if it beads up, you have surface tension restored. Okay.
Okay.
You've restored the surface tension. All the residual detergent is out of the record at that point. If it does not bead up, if it just spreads around the record, you still got residual solution in there. You must continue to rinse, spray with distilled water, brush, vacuum, or go to the sink and rinse it out, and then go back.
Okay.
And
I get it, Elliot. But let me just tell you.
Hey,
very quickly,
also, Elliot, when Elliot says
let me
distilled
just say
water,
this.
it comes from the still next door.
If you try
Distilled
if you-
water.
if you just try if Elliot tried a humming guru, the next time we see him, he'd have like a wig, he'd have hair
Yeah.
plugs. It would
And
change
he
his
wearing
fucking life.
Neighbor,
It would change his fucking life.
Can
So
you
don't
show-
do it, Elliot. We
Can
he
you
had
like
a
you.
hot woman on each arm.
Can you
Yeah.
show Rob? Can you show Lisa Harper's last comment
I don't know. This is dangerous.
and make me big?
Oh God, demands out the yin yang here. I'll make
Yeah.
you big.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm looking for Lisa Harper.
Yeah. So
Lisa
Lisa Harper
Harper.
actually, she made a funny comment that's also based on physics. So that let's
She's never made anything funny.
I've
never
used the
anything
Large
funny.
Hadron Collider. That's
Lisa
you know,
Harper, can you say normie in the chat, please?
So let me. I wanted to talk if everybody's ready, because obviously there's a lot of passion. Who knew about this topic? But it really is all about enhancing the records we buy. And this is one I got, and you can see the cover's a little rough, and it's on Crown Records, but it's one that I've not seen it often in the wild. But this came as 2 pieces. This record cover, right? And if you talk about time spent enhancing a record you buy the amount of time this one required, and I hope I can show it. There you go. You see, there's a
Yeah.
tape up top. There's a tape on the lower edge. This thing was in 2 pieces, and I've started now taping the distal edge internally, or the back edge internally. So this one, I mean, it looks from the outside, it looks fully intact.
Well,
And-
as a follow up to what you just said, Dr. Robert, if you
And-
put like
no,
a hot pocket, let me finish. If you
Oh.
put a hot pocket in there and microwave it, it comes out crispy.
Yeah,
Right
exactly.
there. That's what I use now because Dr. Robert showed us how to do it.
There you go. And it's,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that's
what's that
really,
have to do with the ultrasonic in your records?
Well,
Well-
you just showed that you can fix the cover as well as the record.
just what
But
I
Now,
said.
how does that cover? How does that cover
He's-
sound, Dr. Robert?
It's the reason. Well, no, it doesn't affect the sound of the record, but it affects the value of the record and the quality, right? It's really about enhancing the quality of the records we buy.
And
I am
Dr.
passionate
Robert,
about that. And I think Elliot is too. That's my point. Can we
that
all
took time. Yeah.
talk about something else?
I want to
No.
address something Dr. Robert said the other day.
You don't
If I
undress
could.
Dr. Robert.
I don't want to undress him. I want to address something he said.
Okay.
I think I'm okay with that.
your point, you know, how sometimes it spins and we don't hear exactly what somebody said because we go into the spin. I didn't hear exactly what you said about the relationship between Guy Clark, Susanna Clark, and Towns Van Zandt.
Yeah.
But I have to say that I think I want to backtrack a little bit. And I think you were somewhat correct, and you were correct in what you said. There was an interesting dynamic between those three people throughout their lives. Personally, I don't think it was of a carnal nature between Susanna and Towns, but there was definitely a deep emotional connection. And now we're spinning, so I can't even. A deep emotional connection between Towns and Susanna, which could cause a lot of people to have a lot of concern. And maybe there was some sort of physical relationship during the 6 years that Susanna left Guy. I don't know. But I just watched the documentary on Guy and Susanna Clark, and what you were saying did it rang true. So I want to backtrack and say, Dr. Robert, I think you were pretty much on the money on that. And
Well, thank you, Elliot. And that's thoughtful. And I think it was.
Can you make me big for a minute, Rob?
That I got my information. So it was just what you saw. That's what I was referring to.
So somebody's asking about this, and Dr. Robert did a whole video on it. But what it is it's simply paper that it's glued on one side. You just fold it in half like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you wet it, and then you just slide it into the record cover. Let's
Aren't
see
you
if I got
supposed to put tobacco in that, Harry, or marijuana?
roll
so
that
that
up.
you wet it. The record cover is split. Okay, it's already split. So you just put this in there where you want it to line up, and you let it dry, and it holds the seam together.
What's the
Yeah.
name of it?
It's
I bought it on Amazon. It's called paper hanging tape or hinging tape.
hinging tape. And
Now,
people
is
use
it? Do you use?
And what
your
I've
spit,
done with
or
some
do you
records, if they were bad
use
enough,
water?
I've opened the record completely up, and then I put the tape in it, put it back together. And if you do it right, you can't even
It's
tell.
usually acid-free tape, which you use in fine art photography and
That's
things
what
like that.
it's
It
for
has to be make sure you get acid-free stuff.
that's the purpose of that tape is to apply to the back of paintings or prints to hang
Artwork. Yeah.
of artwork or photography. So
Right.
it is
Now, if
it is
you,
very delicate. I will say I do exactly what Harry just described. But you have to
You can
wet
make
it under
me
the
small.
faucet. I use a plastic ruler as the insertion tool, and then once you've got it, you got to lay it on a flat surface and put something heavy. And I use spinal surgery textbooks to seal my.
that's how you remove the gerbil.
That's your
Now-
insertion tool.
And
That's
there, I will say one last thing. Sometimes you get it and you don't have it fully inside, and there's a little bit of the hinging tape sticking out, and you just cut it with the scissors once it's
Yeah.
dry.
it's like it's called a circumcision. You know, that's like the old joke. You know how I make my penis 20 inches long?
No,
I
I
fold it in
don't want
half.
to know.
I fold it in half.
Well, let me say the only circumcision I've ever attended was my son's. Yeah. So, and I guess I was at a bris too once upon a time.
Yeah.
I have good news. My Cudter, I think, is at the post office as we speak. So after the show, I'm going to go get it.
Everybody
Well,
pick
what
that up,
did
man.
you pay for
Everyone
it?
has a nickname.
What did you pay, Elliot?
My Cudter,
Yeah.
the record store day Cudter.
Yeah.
Ow.
How much? How much?
How much did you pay?
Oh, I overpaid for it. I think with shipping, it was $37. I got it from Rough Trade, but I should have waited and gotten it a little bit cheaper online on Discogs. With the small time brick and mortars were selling it on Discogs for more like $22, $21, $23. I could have got it for about less than 30 if I'd done that. What was it,
Do you
24?
ever go to a record store?
It's about a
Do you have one
$25.
near you?
I
was
don't. I'd have to
25.
drive an hour to get to a record
It
store.
was 25 or 26 bucks on Record
Yeah.
Store Day.
I got mine online for $27 after Record Store Day,
That's a good
including
price.
After shipping.
yeah, including shipping.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
a good price.
I overpaid. Rough Trade had it a little too expensive.
With tax, I probably paid more, Doc.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Hey, Craig, let me know if you've come across. There was a Record Store Day title in the UK, Don Cherry, that BYG put out that originally was only released in Japan. I'm trying to find that one. So
How do y'all feel about that stereo panning that's on that Cudter record?
I'm fine with it. Some people get so wrapped up in that shit. To me, that's what I thought it was great. I like that in stereo panning personally. I like it. As I said earlier, I don't know if you were here. The only problem with the album is there's a photograph that his wife Susan Titleman took of him with a Stratocaster guitar on the cover, and the whole album is acoustic. That's the only weirdness. Like they picked the wrong photo.
And that's nitpicking to go to that.
Right.
So
But I can understand if someone wants electric guitar, you get this feel it's going to be his electric work.
No, it's like bait and switch.
It does, if you read the deal, it says an acoustic set. It's a really good record. So yeah.
Rob, I'm going to have to
the Stewart, but I do not want to get a 45 RPM version. So I'm hoping maybe they'll come back with a 33. They probably have to do a volume 1 and volume 2. Yeah. But I really want to have that album, but it's so much trouble. I have to take the platter off my turntable. I've got to adjust the belt. Then I've got to readjust the belt when it's not quite right. And then I got to do it all over again to get it back to 33.
That's why you need 2 turntables.
That's why you need an ultrasonic cleaner.
Guys, I'm gonna run. I hear my dog pacing around upstairs. I'm afraid she's gonna take a dump in my bedroom. So
yeah, Dr. Robert, there's an art to an Irish goodbye.
Yeah, bring a camera.
You got to be proactive with the dog, Dr. Robert. Proactive.
Well, exactly right. Good to see everybody. Thank you.
Take care. Someone asked, I think if you like the Cudter, the Boomer Story, this is like a Boomer Story tour. I love that that period of Cudter, and that's when I first saw him, and that's why it is an essential if you like that period of Cudter, not just the later stuff with the collaborations and the bigger bands. I really like that. I like the band he had. Was it like 74 or 5 when he was on the Old Gray Whistle test? That's a great version. I hope they do more of that stuff too. Boomers doesn't. Boomer Story.
The live album, Cudter's live album, is just a picture of him on stage, a regular release. It was just a release back.
I was at that show. That was a Great American Music Hall '76.
Yeah, that is a great album.
One of those shows.
That's my favorite Cudter album, really.
Yeah. It's not that. And then and then the other live record he did was way back, like 18 years ago at the Great American Music Hall again. So all his live records, his regular releases were recorded at the Great American Music Hall.
I think I'm like most people, where I like to keep my rye separate from my Cudter.
Oh gosh.
It's not for everybody.
Otherwise, you can get
I tell you, I was disappointed with the Cudter Taj Mahal collaboration from a couple years ago. It's not a bad record, but it just wasn't.
It could have been better. I agree. Yeah. I was so excited for that happening, and it was okay. It wasn't like perfect. I agree.
What's his first name? I mean, what is Rye short for something?
Yes, rye bread.
Ryland.
Ryland.
Ryland. Is the Sex Pistols Winterland out today? Is that coming out official? I was at that show. I will get that show. I will get that album. I didn't know it was coming out today. I know they released one a month ago, a different venue. So it's coming out tomorrow, I guess, right? Friday. Who's that? Terry said that? Yeah, Terry.
Well,
I
we
didn't know
started
that.
off slow, and we had a huge comeback because Dr. Robert got the two machines and realized the Humming Guru was the better.
Well, we did a video about a year ago. He brought his glass Autodesk here, and I had my original, and we did it together.
But why didn't he come away with some conclusion about it back then?
He did.
Why did it take shaming from us to make
Well,
Dr. Robert
I
get
think
a
he had to
Humming
play
Guru?
within his own house, his own time, his own way. But
I mean,
we had
did he see the virtues of it when you were next to each
Yes.
other?
Yeah, watch that video. Yes, he did.
Then why
And
why did it take so long for him
Can
to?
we do a GoFundMe and get Elliot a Humming Guru?
Well, I have
No,
my old
because I
one.
don't want to see him with hair plugs.
If somebody, I'm going to sell my old one for a very discounted price.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Matthew, I did say the Sex Pistols. I didn't like
You
them.
should
They
buy
were
it, Elliot.
assholes like shit. But I've heard on YouTube some of the performances and through a board and I'm sure they did some mixing on it and stuff. So I'm curious.
Hey, unwanted solicitation of other live streams is not
Uh-oh.
welcome.
It's 9:01.
Well, we could go a few more minutes. Oh, Harry,
somebody brings up Leon Redbone on there. Another great acoustic artist.
So I grew up knowing my dad loved Leon Redbone. Even as a young little boy, I watched Saturday Night Live. That's really what put Leon Redbone. I didn't realize his deal. He was Armenian who immigrated to Canada when he was probably a young man and became popular singing in Toronto. And then not until he got put on Saturday Night Live in the mid 70s
on Warner Brothers,
his career took off.
Right. And what commercial did he do that really boosted his career as well? Anybody remember?
Well, he was a voiceover guy. He made a lot of money.
He did this Bud's for You, wasn't that, Leon?
I guess.
I mean, I'm batting 500 if I'm right on this.
Wait, he did. Look, he probably made a shitload of money because he sang the theme song to Mr. Belvedere. That's probably where he made a lot of his money.
Yeah, I think it was this Bud's for You.
What's his best? His best record is the one with the CW frog on the cover.
Yeah, well, that's his first. I think that's a great record. I love that record.
What's his best record then?
Yeah, he's got about six records that he.
Yeah, the thing about it is, Wax,
not a bad one.
All his records are kind of the same, but different takes on different songs. It's not like
he doesn't try different genres on each record.
He's a retro guy. I have a 10-inch. Warner Brothers did a 10-inch of the one with the black cover with the white silhouette. They did a 10-inch version of that.
Mazzy, how many Leon Redbone's albums do you have?
I probably have 3.
That would be a cool video if you did a Leon Redbone.
Ask me how many I've got.
I think I did one when he died, actually.
Hey, how many do you have, Elliot?
I've got at least 12 or 14.
Then maybe you should do a video about Leon Redbone.
Yeah.
I've got multiple copies.
But keep it 6 minutes, okay?
But I've got always albums that were released, while he was still living. And I've got
one of those college kids from the town you live in edit your video down. Hold on 1 second. I'm kind of upset. I'm kind of upset by this comment. Jim, are you subscribed to my channel? Please respond to my question.
I can answer that.
If you are subscribed to my channel, on Monday I posted an announcement that my auction.
I have a video from 5 years. I have a video from 5 years ago. So just search Maslov Leon Redbone and you'll find it. So I did do one 5 years ago.
You can post a link in the chat. So
hold on. Let me.
And he's saying this Bud's for You. See, now if I'm right on this, right on this about him doing the Budweiser commercial, then I'm batting 500 between the Mac Davis, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young fiasco and the Leon Redbone.
Hey, you're actually, Elliot, you're not, because you did all this bashing of Ultrasonic without owning it all.
I don't remember what I did 5 years ago.
I've never bashed Ultrasonics. I've simply said other ways do just as good. I've simply said that it is not the silver bullet that people want to make it out.
It's the just as good part that
Okay,
rubs us the
Elliot,
wrong
a
way
silver bullet kills werewolves.
because
Hey,
you haven't
I wanna-
had the.
John 6 inches here. I'm gonna do a shout out. Last
You're
night,
making a judgment before you've even tried it yourself. You've
There's
read
a-
about it, but you haven't done it yourself.
I've
So
read
you say
research
that-
on it, but Jim, I have read research on it.
I know. I can read research too. I can find research right now that'll prove any point I want. It's
Trying.
not like there's one point.
All right,
You
Tim,
can't discount
Tim, we'll
science.
wait
though.
30 seconds if you can
You
go
can't
find
discount
research
science, but
that
because
says
you
you're
say
6 feet tall.
So
find
I
the-
would
find
suggest
the
you
research.
get yourself a humming guru and then
E-
try it a few times.
anybody
and then get
that's
rid of it.
willing to send me a humming guru free of charge,
No,
I
no,
will. I will try it out and let you know.
Hey,
No.
real quick, we're gonna end the stream, but Mazzy, are you gonna do a video about David Thomas?
No.
Okay, sorry.
I
David
wanted to just give a shout out. 6 inch John is here, and he did a nice video. I watched. I guess I woke up in the middle of the night of this morning. Maybe I watched it. Him and Nadine from post Dembosh talking about the records they picked up, their experience at Dembosh, the soul and R&B records. So that was a nice video. So watch that video. I don't have it handy to put in the link right now, but yeah. So
Okay, I appreciate everyone coming by. Thank you for the lively discussion. And Elliot, read the comments on this video to see how wrong you were about the shit you talked about.
About which one?
There's so much.
There's so much. Hey,
Come
if
to
you
my
can't
auction,
have,
come to my auction on Saturday, people.
if
Subscribe.
you
Saturday
can't have an
Hit the
opinion,
thumbs up
then
and
you
like.
need to go away. Everybody needs a good opinion.
All right,
Bye.
take care.
See ya.